B-Pod Studios.
This is Talkin Rock. Talkin Rock. Your backstage pass to some of your favorite rock artists. Here's your host, Meltdown.
Yeah, we took last week off, but we're back at it again with a stellar episode of Talkin Rock with Meltdown. All vocalists, all different kinds of bands, all on one mediocre, non-award-winning podcast. We're going to wrap things up with Josh Katz from Badflower coming up here in a few minutes. As today, as I record this, they dropped their new record. We'll tell you about that. Also today, as I record this on Friday, June 20th, the first day of summer, Eric and the guys from I Prevail have a new song out called Into Hell. We'll talk with him about that coming up here in a few minutes. But first, it's Scott Stapp from Creed. I got to tell you, when I saw the guys from Creed reform last year on stage, it just, I don't know, it made me feel good. It made me feel really happy for the guys. I mean, I have no skin in the game, no dog in the fight per se, but I don't know. I just like these guys. They had huge success in the 90s, and then it all went away. Scott talks about that. He talks about a little bit about his personal life, that Indy 500 race I went to a few months back. We touch on him playing Frank Sinatra in the Reagan movie, as well as does he have any chickens left? And if not, why not? That was a question from my wife. Scott Stapp from Creed starts out this edition of Talkin Rock.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us here. How's things in your world? You got a busy summer coming up.
Yeah, life has been a whirlwind, man, over the last 5 years, but it's all good. Staying busy and busy is good in the music business. You know, between Creed, the solo record. So life is good, man. Yeah,
a lot of things happening. You know, of course, you played here twice last year. I couldn't go to the first show. I had something else going on that day, and then you played here in November. And this is kind of a hack question, but I saw you up on stage. I couldn't wait to talk to you. I mean, how much fun was getting back together with the band and playing those big arenas again?
Man, it's hard to put into words. I mean, of course, the cliche word would be it's surreal. But, man, it was exciting. It was, you know, there was just so much energy and connection between the band guys. And we were having a good time. And I hope the audience saw it. And we're fired up there. I mean, we're soaking it all in. You know, we're all present. We're all in the moment. And we all know what it's like to have that and then not have that. So there's a new level of appreciation for those moments. And I think that motivates us to play every show like it could be our last, because we've been in that situation where we had that last show and then everything went away. So I think that gives us a new sense of urgency, energy, and passion for every show. And to hear the fans sing every song and the energy that's in the room, man, it's a dream come true. And we don't take a moment of it for granted.
Yeah, this may sound somewhat cheesy, but having known you guys over the past 2+ decades, I was watching that show and I was really happy and excited for you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So how did that tour with Creed and stuff help, you know, with things with your personal life as well?
Man, you know, it was good. I mean, I had my son out when he could come. My oldest son, Jagger, and my 2 grandkids were at multiple shows, and I had my little guy out. You know, my other 2 teenagers are buried in school, but you know, there's some things going on. But you know, you take the good with the bad, and you just try to make lemonade out of lemons. And if you just focus on love and trying to do the right thing, then you know that you're doing what's right. And so, you know, I just, you know, kept my nose to the grindstone, took every day 24 hours at a time, and just tried to stay in the moment and enjoy what was going on with Creed, knowing that it's going to positively affect and benefit my family, my children, and my future in music.
It's funny how you mention grandkids, because I can remember interviewing you guys the first time when you came through Detroit. It was 1997, I do believe, and we were standing outside the venue where you guys were about to play. And now you're talking about your kids and grandkids. Just kind of wild.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. You know, I had Jagger young. I had Jagger very young, and then Jagger got married and started a family very young. So I consider myself a young grandpa. My grandkids, the one that can speak, you know, he calls me Pawpaw. And so when I look in the mirror, I feel like the youngest Pawpaw on the planet.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny because, you know, Kid Rock's one of my friends. I go down and see him down in Nashville. I'm sure you've been around there over at his place. But yeah. I mean, by the way, it's just incredible. But anyhow, I'll text him. I'm like, hey, what's going on tonight? He's like, Grandpa is going to bed early tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think the older we get in life, you know, it started for me in my early 40s, and it's just like health, sleep, and working out, and that's where it's at. And waking up with a clean conscience and feeling good. So, you know, getting to bed early is nice.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, I saw you guys were at the Indy 500 a few months ago. So what was that experience like? Had you ever seen anything like that before?
I have. As a solo artist, when I was promoting my Higher Power album earlier in the year, I played Vegas, the F1. Formula One.
Okay, all right.
In Vegas, and so, you know, I got to see, you know, that aspect of it. It's very similar, and it's exciting. It's incredible. I mean, those cars are amazing. And then at Indy, I got to jump in a car, take a lap around the track, you know, at 200 miles an hour, and it was awesome. And you know, excited for these opportunities. And not taking it for granted. And you know, those guys are studs. They're much more athletic, and it requires much more athleticism than I knew until I actually got in the car and felt what that car does to your body while you're in the car. You're basically, those guys basically, the entire, you know, however many hours they're in that car, they're totally flexed in their abs and having to keep their body from swaying back and forth. So their muscles are fully engaged for hours. And they've got to be in incredible shape to do that. So my level of respect for them as true athletes went off the charts after that.
Yeah, I went around the track one time with Tony Stewart here at Michigan. We were only going 145, but you're right. You can feel the car pushing you into the seat.
Oh yeah, and these cars, you know, they're flat on the ground.
Right.
These Indy cars. I mean, you're low. And it's tight. You can't be a really big guy and enjoy yourself in that vehicle. But still, you know, every turn, even the straightaways, you can feel the impact on your body, and you've got to stay tight. So you're basically just like constantly flexing the entire time. And so it was cool. It was a good experience.
Yeah. So you got you got a lot of stuff coming up. You got a cruise coming up again next year. You did one already this year, correct?
Yeah, we did one this year, and we played Stagecoach this year.
Wow, yeah.
Now we've got the summer tour coming up, and all while this is going on, I've got my third single off my latest record, Higher Power, Deadman's Trigger is the name of the song, and thank you guys for the ad. I appreciate it, and I'm just blown away by how the solo album has been received. You know, I had to go back to the drawing board to start my solo career, and not many people know this, but you know, since 2006, I've been slugging it out in clubs. You know, then slowly worked up to small theaters, and so it's basically I went back and did for the last 18 years almost. Basically starting off like an unknown artist. And so to finally see with this record, it impacting, and the impact that rock radio is having on my fans. You know, when I play my solo shows now, you know, the audiences have tripled. And it's just to see that the age range, you know, high school kids to college kids, and to see them connecting with my music. I mean, for me as an artist, that's so fulfilling. after all these years, to know that the new music that I'm creating is connecting with young people as a fresh new artist. And I thank rock radio for that, man, because you guys are turning me on to these kids. And I'm excited to rock and melt their faces off when they're at my show.
Yeah, and speaking of new music and creating, I was texting with Scott Stevens earlier today. He said you took him to a Predators game. I think that might have been the first time he'd ever gone to a game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, dude, I love Scott, man. We've been writing together and working together for over a decade. Are we coming up on 15 years? It might be between Scott and Marty Fredrickson. I love him, man, and enjoy. We have such great creative chemistry. I've been fortunate and blessed to have multiple people throughout my career, starting with Mark Tremonti and all the Creed records, we wrote, just he and I. But then, getting to be have the opportunity to write with Scott Stevens, he and I together, to write with Kevin Thrasher, to write with Giannis Papadopoulos, who's featured on my solo record. These incredibly talented guitar players. It's just, I've been very fortunate and very blessed, because it's hard to find that type of creative chemistry consistently. And I seem to just kind of have stumbled across it and just walked into it. And he's such a good dude. And all those guys I mentioned are, and I look forward to writing with these guys, for the rest of my career.
Are you writing with Mark right now for another Creed record? I don't know where that stands.
We're talking about it. I mean, we're taking things slow. We're rebuilding, we're relearning about each other. We're reconnecting. I think this experience has been kind of like it's putting on an old glove, but we've all changed.
Yeah.
We're all older. We have kids. We have different responsibilities and priorities in life. And we're all extremely focused. And I think that, when that day comes and we decide to make a Creed record, I think it'll be probably, if not on par, better than anything we've ever done, just based upon the life experience that we have, everything we've done the last 2 years of playing together. I think that sets the stage that when it's the right time, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, real fast, I have to admit, I saw the Reagan movie, but I missed your part. I don't know. Maybe I didn't realize it was you or not, but I don't know how I missed it. But, what was that experience like?
It was awesome being on a film set. I've had a lot of experience over the years making music videos, which are shot very much like movies. And so, I wasn't very nervous going in because I had been in those environments before. And, I played a performer. I played Frank Sinatra as he was performing.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of a cheat code anyway, because that's what I do. So, it was cool to get dressed up like that and to actually record a Sinatra song for the soundtrack and play that brief cameo in the film.
Yeah, kind of a cool thing you and Tremonti have in common. Hey, last thing here for you. When I told my wife I was talking with you, sometimes my wife comes up with these crazy questions. She wanted me to ask you if you still have your chickens.
The HOA said no. And so that was a 2-year excursion. So when I get on a piece of property where there's no HOA, I am definitely going to have me some chickens. So it was a good run while it lasted. It was fun for the kids, but I tell you what, trying to let your chickens be free range and then trying to get them back in to their pen at night is like herding cats, brother. And so, if someone had a camera watching me try to get these chickens back into their cage every night, it would be the funniest thing you've ever seen. Sometimes it took me like an hour and a half. So it was good times with the kids.
My neighbors have chickens. They always end up back in their place where they're supposed to be by the time the sun set. I don't know how that works.
Not mine. Not mine. They're going to have to teach me how to train them to do that. The same with my granddad. He had a farm when I grew up, and his chickens, they free range, ran the property all day, but sunset they were back, in the pen. So I don't know what the trick is. Someone with experience is going to have to send me a DM on how to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. I just texted Brad from Three Doors Down, as I do periodically, and I'm always thinking about him. And if you see him, send him our best. And we look forward to seeing you August 23rd at Mount Pleasant, Soaring Eagle. Congratulations with Higher Power, and congratulations with getting back on the big stage. I'm really happy and excited for you.
Thank you, brother, man. And for all the new fans of Deadman's Trigger, I've got something big coming out here soon that I'm excited to be releasing in conjunction with the single at radio. So stay tuned for that.
All right, that sounds cool. All right, Scott, thank you so much for your time, man, and continued success. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate y'all's support always.
Up next, it's Eric from the band I Prevail. We talk about their new songs, actually. They have one called Violent Nature, which was the name of a horror movie which came out in 2024. We talk a little bit about that. He did tell me more about the record, but apparently that was not supposed to be released yet. So this interview is a little bit edited up, but he talks about his new song, Into Hell, working with the other guys in the band, being thrust into the spotlight after Brian Burkheiser left the band earlier this year, playing some shows. We talk about hockey. I love talking hockey with Eric and whoever else wants to talk about that. Eric from I Prevail is up next on Talkin Rock. So I just got to work. I had to drop off my skates to get sharpened because I lost an edge playing hockey on Sunday. You know how important that is.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch the finals?
I did. I caught it on the plane on the way down to Florida.
Yeah, are you in Florida right now?
Yeah. A couple days of rehearsal, and then we start tour here. We got 2 dates here in Florida.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. So what did you and Dylan, I was texting with Dylan yesterday, and he thought that Florida was going to finish it out last night. What'd you think?
Yeah, I had a feeling they were going to finish it out, but hate to see it go back down to Florida. I was rooting for Edmonton.
How come?
I don't know, man. Florida's fun and all, but I don't know. I'd rather the cup be up in the north. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah. So, anyways, maybe our wings will be there someday, but not anytime soon, as far as I could tell.
Man, I've been saying for the last 5 years, 2 years, just give us 2 years. And that 2 years goes into the next 2 years. But, man, I think we got some good young talent. That Kosa, I believe his name is, from Griffins, that goalie.
Yeah, the goalie.
Waiting for him to come up. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to come up. I think we got good offense and got some good goalies down the pipeline. But, yeah, it's just that defense. We just need some stronger defense, it feels like.
I think that some of the problem with Edmonton was not great goaltending.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't remember. I think they had nearly the same shots on goal. It was 5-1, 5-2 or something.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your band. Last time I was texting with, I think, Dylan. I'm not sure if you were on there or not, but I think a couple weeks ago you guys were in Welcome to Rockville. Was that one of your first gigs of the year, or what have you guys been doing?
Yeah, we had Sonic Temple the week before, and then Welcome to Rockville, and those were the first two of just getting our feet wet before hopping in the tour.
Yeah, how'd it feel?
Hot. It was hot. We had pyro, and the band after us had a bunch of stuff on stage. So like all our stuff was just a little closer to the edge of the stage than anticipated. So that pyro was a couple feet closer. You can really tell. But yeah, man, it was sick though. It was awesome. The crowd was awesome. Always a good time to get back out and playing songs. And especially when it's, call them warm-up shows for the tour, but these warm-up shows are to tens of thousands of people. It's awesome.
Yeah. So the Summer Loud Tour kicks off. It's funny, you'll be back here in Detroit 3 days after the day you played here last year, almost exactly to the day.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was
we're
July 13th last year, July 16th this year.
Yep. So excited to be back, man. I'm so blessed to be able to play Pine Knob for the third time now. It's mind blowing.
I was thinking about that before we started talking. The first time was at Riff Fest a couple of years ago, and I think that the picture of you guys on stage, I got the whole crowd is like the background on one of my Facebook pages.
Yep.
That was quite a night.
Oh, that was incredible, man. I kept having to like take a second to like just keep grounding myself and like, hey, remember where you're at. You're up on this stage in front of 10,000 people, 12,000 people in one of the best venues in the States. And I know I'm a little biased, but I kept having to like ground myself and remember like how crazy is it that you're up here right now playing to this many people in your home state in a venue that you saw these bands, growing up. It's and to come back for now for the third time. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
No, it's cool. You guys have had quite a run here in the last few years. So talk about the new music and talk about like when's the record. What can you tell us about anything?
Wow, man, really, really excited to put this stuff out. We had the first single, which is quite heavy and
Heavy, all right.
yeah, kind of shake up the fan base and kind of throw everyone. We love to, if you look back at our track record, the first singles have always been like either like what we thought was like just a big home run or something that was just a little off of center, and that this one felt like the perfect one to like jar the fan base and shake up the metal community that I don't think was prepared to hear something like that from us. And then following up with Into Hell, which is a complete left turn off of what we just released, but I think that's just what our band's always done. Has had this dichotomy or had this like eclectic sound. We're all fans of heavy stuff to pop stuff to there's some country songs that slip into my playlist just because they're undeniably well written. So just loving all types of music, and it's awesome to be able to filter that into our sound and to put out records that have 1 minute whatever emotion you're looking for, we probably got it. If you want something to bang your head through the wall, we have that. If you need something just to sing along to and feel good, we have a couple of those and everything in between.
Now, of course, obviously, you look at the song "Into Hell" and you're like, okay, Violent Nature was heavy. You're like, "Into Hell," this is going to be heavy as well. But like you said, it's a complete left turn. It's I was texting with Dylan. I'm like, there's some pop sensibilities to this song.
Yeah, absolutely. Song means a lot to me, and I had a lot of fun writing with the guys, and we. When we were picking the singles off the record, we had a couple in mind, and sorry about that. You still there?
Yep, I'm going. Yep, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, we had a couple in mind, and sending it over to the radio team and the label was funny. They all picked this one, and not to say that we weren't stoked for that one. We just didn't think that we were like, oh man, that really you guys think that's single worthy, and we're like, all right, we'll trust you. It's not that it's a song that we didn't dislike or anything. It was just we didn't think that was we weren't sure if anyone else was going to see the vision like we did, and just really really excited and stoked that our team it backed it as much as we felt it, and stoked to finally have this out, man.
Yeah, that's great. And so talk about your singing on this song, because it's a little bit not what we're used to.
Yeah. I'm singing all over this record now, and I've sang a little bit on the past records, like parts here and there, and harmonies and stuff. But for this time around, to go into this and going, all right, well, we're not going to change our sound dramatically. This is still I Prevail. We're going to have the heavy stuff, but we're also going to have the hooks that we love to write, the big choruses, trying to aim for those, to write those big choruses. So going into the studio and writing in our little unit we got, it was, I don't want to say challenging. It was a big learning curve, but also it was awesome to, when you're doing something creative and putting yourself out there and around other people, vibe in the room means a whole it means a lot. You know, if you got someone in there you're a little uncomfortable with, and I don't know, I don't want to belt this note and sound bad in front of these people, but to have my guys, the band, you know, just cheering me on and being super supportive and feeling okay. All right, I'm gonna let's try this melody and sing it. And oh man, that didn't sound good. And not getting like, you know, feeling dumb or feeling bad, but like, oh no, try it again. Try tweaking this, or like, you're a little sharp on that. Like, you're good. Just get back in there. You got it. Like that was detrimental of getting where we're at now with these songs. It was just having the confidence to get in there and go, all right, no one else is going to do it. I'm going to do it. Got to figure it out.
It almost sounds like something that the Florida Panthers would have said in the locker room last night. I hear that they're quite a team as far as built around that and propping other guys up too. And that's what you said with your band.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, I got a little bone to pick with the Panthers. I had Bob Broski on my fantasy team last 2 years. And 2 years ago, he was a star on my team. And then this last year, he couldn't start them all the time. So, you know, getting to see them win the cup, I'm like a little, you know, good for them. I'm a little salty still, but.
Well, I'm sure Bobrovsky's probably passed out somewhere, but
oh yeah,
sure, right. So talk about with Brian leaving the band, and then you got to take over. Did that put you in a challenging position, not only in the studio writing songs on stage, or was this something that you kind of just slipped into naturally?
You know, in the past, he's had to miss a few tours with health things, and Dylan and I having to, like, you know, find it out fairly last minute and just going, well, we can't cancel the tour. We got to go out there. We'll figure it out. And Dylan's great. He's a great vocalist, and he's been helping coach me a little bit on things I'm still learning, figuring out. Dude, I went from not warming up for a show, just getting out there and ripping it, to now I'm like, I should warm up a little bit. So he's been a huge part of getting me to where I'm at. Going into the studio, we went 8 hours a day and 5 to 6 days a week, and going for like 3-4 weeks at a time, just like getting in there, taking the reps, singing. And at first it was like, all right, we're going to figure it out. And then after the first demo or two of singing these, you know, big melodic choruses that we were writing, started feeling like, oh, okay. I think I can handle this. All right. So it's a bit of a learning curve at first, but man, I love performing. I love being out on that stage. I love singing songs and seeing people sing it back. So I'm so just looking forward to that. So excited for this summer tour.
Yeah. And what was it like the first couple shows you played? Because now you're kind of like thrust into the front, as before was kind of like 50-50 or maybe even 60-40.
Yeah, the first two shows before we had anything announced, where it was a little, all right, well, we're going to go out there. We're playing the songs people know. You know, there's going to be, you know, try not to, for me, if the more people that are out there, the easier it is. Yeah. If there's, you know, a couple hundred people, I'm seeing faces, I'm focusing, I'm like having out of body experience, thinking like, that person's a person. They have their own identity. They're sitting there watching me right now. I wonder what they're thinking. You know, I just get in my head. But, you know, there's a couple thousand people out there. I'm just looking at the general vibe. Okay, there's pits going. There's crowd surfing. I see people all smiling, just like groups of people smiling. We're good. So those first two shows was a lot of that. Like, don't make personal eye contact with one individual. Look at the whole show. Just perform the songs, and most importantly, have a good time doing it. Because when we're up there having a good time, we always walk off the show going, "That was good." And you can tell, like, when you're watching a band and you're like, "Oh man, they're having an off night." Not because they sound bad, but you can just tell, like, the vibe is like, "No, they're up there, they're playing the songs, and they're done." And that kind of, you know, I feel like a lot of fans can pick up on that, you know? So I think that was the big thing going into those first two shows and these first couple shows is we're back in the saddle. People are here to see these songs. Let's just go rip it and have a great time.
Yeah, bigger crowds are, in my opinion, faceless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough when you get up there in front of just a few, like you said, a couple hundred people. You start to zone in, and bigger crowds you can't hear, like maybe a heckle or a laugh that's
Yeah,
supposed to be there, or whatever the case is.
dude, I was the best man in Dylan's wedding, and a couple hundred people. I blacked out. I don't remember. I went on autopilot. I had my what do you call it? My speech in my phone. So I was like talking, look down, talking. I'm looking at the wall. I'm looking at the server over there. I'm looking at that plate of food. I'm just don't look at people. But then I get out in front of, we played Download in the UK and there's 50, 60,000 people. I'm like, what's up? Yeah. Like it's different. It's so different.
Yeah, it's almost like the adrenaline takes over, and it's like the train has left the building, and it's like you're just on it. Now you just go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes I've gotten out there on stage, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but I knew once I started talking, it was on, and you just roll with it.
Yep. Just your brain goes on autopilot, and you hope your muscle memory is going to take control. It's focused. It's got every song's got a purpose. Every song has some heart or meaning or connection to it. It's no fluff, and it's some of every new record a band puts out. Oh, this is the best stuff we've ever written. It's favorite stuff. It's tough not to say that, but man, I feel like we went back through the motions of like, what did we do with lifelines and trauma that really set us apart from the records past. And I think we really focused on what that meant for us, and tried to hone in on that with this record. True Power was so much fun to write. It was in a weird situation. We were in the middle of touring Trauma, right in the middle of the first year, let's say. We had another year and a half of plans, and then COVID. So we went home and we're like, all right, this whole flatten the curve thing, 4 weeks or whatever it was, that's not happening. So what do we do? All right, well, let's write a record. Well, we got no time constrictions. We got no time restraints. We got nothing in the pipeline, right? Let's just write fun stuff. Let's write the experimental and stuff like that. So we learned a lot from that, and learned what worked, what didn't, what was fun, and what stood the test of time, I guess you could say, and taking from what we did in the past and what we had fun with on the last record, trying to find that sweet spot for this one. And I truly think we got very close, if not right on the money with it.
And now with Brian being gone, do you feel like you're a little bit more invested? Is this a little bit more personally, or is there kind of the same as the last few records?
The last few records, definitely, I wrote a lot of lyrics and a lot of stuff for those songs. So everything all felt personal. With this, when the last songs, you have people that look at like, oh, he's singing the chorus. This is this song for him or whatever. When all of our music in the past has all been, collaboratively written, like all the lyrics, it all come from each of us, from a real place. With this record, it's the same thing, just there's a lot that I wrote and that I'm just as connected with. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit more, just because there's now you just have one voice, and going into writing lyrics and writing melodic stuff, and there's how do I put this? You don't have to have thinking of this like faceless identity of a song where it's like, oh, is the two people singing it? Are they singing about the same thing? Are they singing about his version of the event and his version of the event? It just feels very cohesive, is I think the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about that. There was a movie last year called In a Violent Nature. I don't know if you know anything about it. Did you happen to see that?
No, I didn't. I didn't see it. I heard about it, and it's funny that I think that movie was like, I think it was the trailer was coming out while we were working on the song. So it was like, I remember Steve coming up with like, he's like, oh, I had this thing written like Violent Nature, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And we kind of like took that and made the identity around the song. We're like, all right, here's this tag. I like that tag. Oh, it goes really well over that instrumental. Let's write around that. And then we saw that trailer, like, Oh man, that's fun. I'm not gonna watch it right now because I don't want that to be like influenced and feel like we wrote based around that. So I haven't seen it yet, but it looked good. It looked awesome. I've had friends say it was like all my horror thriller, chop 'em up movie fan friends all highly recommended it. So I got to go check it out.
It was my sleeper horror movie of the year, and there was some very interesting deaths in that movie.
Oh, really? That's what I've heard.
Okay. Well, listen, dude, good luck on this summer tour. We'll see you here in Detroit. And also, I know we've talked about this several times in the past, but we got to get to a Red Wings game next year.
I know, man. Well, hey, we got I think this fall we have some time. We have some fly out dates for festivals, but what better time than the first month of the season? Let's get in there.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate all the time, and good luck with everything moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Always good to see you, man.
You too, brother. Thanks. Finally, wrapping up this episode is Josh from the band Badflower. Their new record, No Place Like Home, drops today as I record this on June 20th. By the way, you can watch this interview as well as the one that just aired with Eric from I Prevail on video on YouTube or on WRIF.com, as they were nice enough to hop on a Zoom call with me. But yeah, we talk about the new record. We talk about his time living down there in Nashville as a country boy and more. It's Josh from Badflower to wrap up this episode of Talkin Rock. How's your morning been?
It's been all right, doing a lot of this press stuff, but it really is this is truly therapy for me, and I haven't found the right therapist, and I really desperately need one. And so doing all of these is actually really good. I got to tell you a funny story about you.
Yeah.
About you that you would never know happened. There was a time when our whole band was in the bus trying to remember what your name was.
Okay.
And it was a game that we played. Well, by your name, I mean Meltdown.
Yeah.
And it was a game that we played. We're like, we're not using our phones. What is his radio name? What is that guy's radio name? And we're like beat up. We knew it was something, but we spent like a good hour on it. Eventually, we got it. And so,
okay,
I just thought I'd tell you that story. It was really funny. And so now I'll never forget that you were a Meltdown.
Well, thanks. I thought maybe you were driving around the country somewhere and you heard me on your nearest radio, but
no,
not to me. So
just trying to remember your name.
Hey, so, it's funny because you mentioned this is therapy, but, I interview a lot of bands, and there's not many bands, I would say, that write music in a therapeutic way like you guys do, or at least you do.
Mm.
This record is really therapeutic, isn't it?
I hope so. I hope so for the people who listen to it.
Well, I'm talking about for you to get stuff off of your chest.
Honestly, it wasn't as therapeutic as I would have liked it to be.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried really hard. I tried really, really, really hard for it to be therapeutic. And I had moments of it. I had real big wins. Obviously during pause, there was some therapy happening there that was really good. A song called "What's the Point" that's on there. There's a lot of crying and emotional tension released during that one, but it was just more difficult for me than it has ever been.
Now, I think I read in the bio that they sent me, and this is funny because I was talking with Geezer Butler about this last year from Black Sabbath. Those guys came from very poor, humble beginnings. They write their first couple of records from that point of view, and then after a while, it's like, well, what do you write about now? And I think you kind of touched on that a little bit in some of the writing in this album, didn't you?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, just being successful, quote unquote.
Right.
It's kind of this like, what now feeling. Like, now what do I do? Am I done? Like, what do I do? Are we just maintaining this thing? Are we going to keep growing? Do I have it in me to keep pushing and growing because I knew the amount of effort it took to get to this point? It's weird. There's just never a point. And I think this applies to any job, whether it's a creative field or not, probably more so in the creative fields like actors, musicians, whatever. But there's never a point where you're like, oh, I've made it and now I can just chill. It just doesn't exist.
And you worked again with, well, I shouldn't say again. Have you worked with Nick Raskulinecz before?
No, just this time.
So why? I mean, Nick obviously has a great track record with rock bands and stuff. Was it just Was he local and that was easier? Or did you guys want to work with him, or how'd that come about?
Well, we wanted to work with somebody because I have produced everything myself. Well, I produced the last album myself, and I that's typically my role. But I was in a position where I just couldn't handle it. I felt like it was too much pressure, and I just didn't have the confidence in myself. So we brought Nick in to help jumpstart that. And then towards the end of it, I kind of took it back, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, Nick, for the help. I'm gonna do this my way again." But yeah, but he was. I don't know. I think actually, I think the story was I think his wife and kids saw us open for Incubus, and then they told him, like, you've got to work with this Badflower band. And so it just kind of worked out.
That's pretty cool. So what was the experience like with him?
It was good. Awesome guy. Real easy to work with. Real fun.
And it's good to see that the song Detroit's finally on a record, because that's been out for quite a while now.
That's right.
Yeah. And
are you guys still playing it? Are you still good?
Yeah, and and you mentioned Pause. We play that periodically, and I have to admit it gives me a lump in my throat. But someone once mentioned to me that life is just a series of dogs.
Like every dog that you have is like the next phase of life.
Yeah, the last time I had to put a dog down was 4 years ago, and I thought it was I'm actually almost to the day, June 18th. And I thought I was going to be okay. I took the day off from work and I rode my motorcycle halfway to Chicago and back.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do another one for a very long time.
Yeah.
I just don't think I can.
Yeah. Did you ever hear Maggie's song from Chris Stapleton?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's another one that gets you because it's about his dog, Maggie. But yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know someone else wrote a song about a dog named Maggie.
Yeah, I used to watch it run around, and now it's crossing the rainbow bridge. I mean, it's like it's so moving. It's like one of those songs. Yeah,
wow.
And it's a country song. You know how these country.
Did you know that my dog's name was Maggie?
I did not.
Yeah.
Now wait a second. When this bio said that the dog is the dog still alive or no?
Probably at the time of the bio writing,
Gotcha.
she was, but she's not now. Yeah.
Dogs are the best, though. I mean, I'm a huge dog guy. It's like I just walk, not even thinking about it. I walked my dog today 3 miles.
Nice.
Yeah, it's because what you got to do. So tell me about the rest of the record, which, by the way, No Place Like Home comes out this Friday as we record this. Snuff is out. You got a big tour coming up as well. But what about the rest of the album? What other kind of stuff are you writing about?
I mean, all kinds of these themes of lack of motivation and self-worth. I think there's some of that stuff in there. There's also just very interesting little story, like snippets of stories. There's a song called "Don't Be a Stranger," which I think is really interesting. I like to tell stories, and we have some stories in there.
One of the things that caught my attention was Swinging Hammer, and we've talked about this before, but where you live outside of Nashville on a farm?
Yes.
How many acres you got?
21.
21. Do you have any other animals out there?
Right now, I have too many cats and horses.
Oh, how many horses do you have?
I honestly don't know. There's we have a family who are now friends, basically, who board their horses, and most of them are like retired movie horses. And I honestly don't know how many they have here right now.
Yeah,
but it's somewhere between 8 and 10.
Have you always been like a country kid?
No, I'm from LA.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So how does this come about?
I was just impulsively during COVID. I was like, I want to do something different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of grew up in the sticks, and I live in the sticks by choice.
Were you driving to Detroit to do this?
Yeah.
How far away are you?
28 miles. How far away are you from from Nashville?
I'm an hour drive.
Okay. Which side? I was in Hendersonville and Whites Creek and stuff last time I was out there.
I'm south of Nashville, so just deep in Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, I was in Franklin with Jared Weeks, also from Jared from Save and Able.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he lives down in Franklin as well. But, you got Detroit on here. You got Snuff, like we just talked about. London, Haunting You. No Place Like Home. So why did you guys pick this as the title track and the first song on the record?
It just felt right.
Yeah.
It just felt good. The song, there's no other song on this album like that one. But for some reason, to me, it feels like it sets the mood. It feels like it sets the mood for the time period we're in. And then the rest of it is like my feelings.
Is there always like a song that kind of comes to the top when you're writing an album full of 10 or 12 tracks?
No, honestly, the album to me is just a collection of songs.
Yeah.
There isn't some big concept. The only concept is this is what my brain was doing when I was writing the songs for this time period. Like, that's it. Which ends up being, conceptual in a way, but it's not, it's not Dark Side of the Moon.
So you got 311 this summer, then a 3 Days Grace, almost 3 doors down. 3 Days Grace coming up in the fall. And Europe, you got to be chomping at the bit to play some of these songs live, right?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. Some of them we're really excited about, yes.
How many do you think you're going to sneak in?
Well, the original idea for the 311 tour was to rotate the set list around. So to do like different things. It's weird, like releasing an album and not headlining, but it's just kind of the way it worked out where we release an album and we're supporting. So we can't do the big album release tour yet. So I think we might just, play with them.
Mm-hmm. Well, No Place Like Home drops this coming Friday. And good luck with everything, Josh. And are you going to get another dog anytime soon?
No.
No?
Just the cats.
Just the cats. Gotcha.
I have 10 cats here right now.
Holy crap. That's funny. All right, brother. Well, listen, best of luck to you and the rest of the guys in the band with the new record and the tour and all that stuff. And we'll see you next time you're here in Detroit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And there it is, another non-award-winning episode of the Talkin Rock and Meltdown podcast. It may be non-award-winning, but I appreciate you guys listening nonetheless. I love doing it. I love talking to some of these bands. I've got one band lined up next week, but, things just start to percolate sometimes, and you never know what's going to happen. But this band I have lined up for next week, actually, I should say singer/guitarist, comes from a legendary family, and that's all I'll say about that. It's Meltdown. This is Talkin Rock. I appreciate you guys listening.
Thank you for listening to Talkin Rock with Meltdown. You can help this podcast grow by giving it a 5-star rating and writing a review on Apple and iTunes. Plus, feel free to subscribe and share it with your friends. Until next time, thanks for listening to Talkin Rock.